Hi, today I'm going to talk about La Historia del ave Fénix of Federico Falco. Well, about the genre, it isn't epic because it doesn't have the characteristic of it, because it doesn't mix the fiction with the reality, and it doesn't have heroes. And it isn't from the Renaissance or medieval because of the time it was written, because medieval and the Renaissance was in a certain time, and this book was written 6 years ago. If we are talking about the theme, we can relate it to cynicism, coldness, darkness, and fiction. Well, this story talks about a man who brought a phoenix bird to a town. And the people in this town was very excited because they wanted to see the bird born off and then see the new bird reborn from the ash. Unfortunately, the bird didn't appear, so the people get very angry and they started to look up for the man who brought the bird, but they couldn't find him. So they sent a lot of people to find him, but he disappeared, and that's how the story ends. In this case, the thematic line is the author, because he usually writes this type of tales, and he has the characteristic of combining the poetic and the novel genre to write all his stories. The narrator is omniscient because he knows everything about the story and everything about the characters, so he tells everything as he knows every single piece of this story. In this story, there aren't too many characters, so most of them are environmental. But the main character could be the man who brought the phoenix bird. First, I'm going to talk about the exposition. That is a man who brought a phoenix bird to a town. Then we continue with the conflict. That is when the man put the bird on the public so everyone can see it, and he starts to burn it. Then is the rise in action. That is when the bird starts to burn off and the people start seeing that any bird was appearing. Next is the climax. That is when the people noticed that any bird was going to appear. So they started to look up for the man who wrote it, but they couldn't find him, and they wanted their money back. We continue with the fall in action. That is when the people noticed that the man wasn't going to appear. So they realized that they have lost their money and the show because there wasn't going to be any bird reborn. It refers to the cheating because the man promised the people that they were going to see a show, that a new bird was going to reborn from the original phoenix, but that didn't happen. So we learn from this that we don't have to believe everything that is told to us. Yes, I recommend it because it led us a good message and the story is very short and easy to read.